Take a breath. Feel your heart. Where is your focus going today? So it's Tarot Tuesday, and I want to talk about mandalas, or mandalas. I don't know how you say it. But the mandala is the soul's way of finding its own center again, according to Jung. Jung saw the mandala, the circular, often symmetrical image, as a symbol of the higher self, including both the conscious and the unconscious, representing the inner center, the place of balance and divine order within the chaos of life and the psyche. He said, the mandala is the psychological expression of the totality of the self. And that's from C.G. Jung Collected Works, Volume 9I. And it symbolizes wholeness and the natural urge towards unity. The source pattern, or the severe pattern imposed by a circular image of this kind, compensates the disorder and confusion of the psychic state, namely through the construction of a central point to which everything is related. Jung, the archetypes, and the collective unconscious. Jung connected the mandala to individuation, his term for the lifelong process of becoming whole, which is where my work focuses. Integrating shadow and light, masculine and feminine, and ego and soul. It is a map and medicine for reestablishing harmony. Okay, so why I wanted to bring this up is because that's what I like to do through tarot. And I don't use a circle. I don't think you necessarily need a circle, although I love circles. I find it's a great representation of the feminine. And the imagination and the psyche. So I love circles, but in tarot, what we do, we have like a cloth that we put down, and the boundaries of the cloth are where our cards go, and that is what gives us our focus. So boundaries establish focus. And I wanted to say something about that too, because our boundaries tell us what's important to us. And when we decide something is no longer important to us, we leave it outside those boundaries. Okay, so we are going to do a tarot reading and focus on what is coming up for us as a collective right now. But I just want to say a little bit about that because I do find that I seem to be very connected to the collective, and so what comes up for me is usually what's coming up for the collective, particularly the rescuers, the light seers, and the healers. You seem to be my people. People that give so much to others and are very empathic, but sometimes forget themselves. And so I want to give some love to you and show you how you can put more time, energy, and love into yourself. And then attract more people who give back to you. Because of a lot of us we're not getting what we needed, and we were feeling depleted because we were finding a lot of people who would just suck our energy, or they would block our energy, and it wasn't going anywhere. It was just going into like a black hole. And so we would feel depleted, but it didn't feel like they ever got enough, and we weren't getting anything back. So correcting that imbalance, that's an imbalance. And it partly is an imbalance between our feminine and masculine, and our ability to set boundaries for ourselves and discern what we want and what we don't want, where we want to focus our energy and where we don't want to focus our energy. Okay, so I just want to I left one deck across the table, so I'm going to get up and grab that. Okay. And I want to start out with that one. That is the Inner Temporal Oracle, which I just got this deck. So I want to I think that's a good place to start. I like to do things differently all the time. I don't really like to ever do anything the same. Sometimes I will have like a little pattern that I follow, but I think sometimes that when you get too into structure and routine, you know, sometimes you lose that ability to connect with spirit and flow, and it becomes too structured. So we need to be able to go with the flow, and so I think it sometimes helps to not have too much structure, or at least not marry the structure. Oh, I wanted to share a little bit of what I was working on this morning. I got off track there. So I was listening to my favorite tarot card reader, who is Dove and Serpent tarot card reader. I'm blanking on his name right now. But the Dove and Serpent tarot reader, I love him. He's like psychic, and he's always tuned into my energy. And he was talking about moving into things too quickly. And one of the things he said was, maybe you need to run away. But that was my old pattern, and I don't think I need to run away. But I asked my own tarot, I did my own tarot card reading after, because I think some of what he was saying was pretty accurate. Like, I was rushing into something and feeling this need to rush into things. And it goes across several areas of my life. And I was asking myself, you know, where is this coming from? And what I was getting from that is I'm rushing myself because I feel like there's not going to be enough for me, and that I am not going to have a place. I don't know if you can relate to that. If you can relate to that, let me know. I want to know if that's something that's coming up for you too. And the interesting part is that I did find with my boyfriend that, like, he matches me on so many levels that I didn't even think was possible. And he's also really different from me. So I can't do the normal things that I would do in a relationship, which is to try to feel exactly what he's feeling. He does things that I would never do and I could never do. So I can't actually feel what he's feeling, which is an interesting place for me to be as an empath. And I really kind of like it. And I'm really having a hard time with it. I don't understand what I'm supposed to do with that. Maybe nothing, just appreciate. What I am doing with that is really appreciating what he does, because it's something that I could never do. He does physical labor and creates things. He's a carpenter, and that the things that he does, like, are like unfathomable to me. Anyway, the Dove and Serpent guy was cautioning me into moving too fast into things. And what I was noticing is that I really am starting to move slower and integrate the different parts of me and listen to all of them. So I'm not bypassing any of them, and I can see everything. Because I was in a relationship, which was, I mean, I don't like to say this, but the person that I was with was a narcissist, which makes sense because I'm an empath, and we both had the same wounds, but we dealt with them differently. But it's very hard to trust after being with a narcissist, because when you finally realize that you were with a narcissist and you really shouldn't have been trusting in any of the things that they were saying, you just start to question everything and not trust a lot. But I think so right now I'm really trying to see everything and feel everything and tune into, and what I'm noticing also is that the antidote and the healing for that is to really love and listen to myself. And when I can do that, I'm not vulnerable to anything. So, and it becomes a superpower. So the things that I need to remember is that I create my abundance. It's not something I have to hurry up and use before it's gone. That's just me fighting myself. And I just need to be able to find balance and flow in my life. So is that something that you're working on too? Maybe, may not be. But I'm seeing it in many different areas in my life. And I think you could call it the scarcity either scarcity versus abundance, believing that, you know, there's all good flows from the universe and there's enough for everybody and everybody gets their part. Or there's a limited amount and you have to grab it before somebody else does. So what do you believe? And is that affecting you right now? Okay, so that is what was coming up for me. And I'm finding when I just slow down and listen to every part of myself, that balance happens. And also recognizing that wherever you're focused in life is the mandala or the mandala. And you have, if you let that center and focus, it comes into balance naturally if you just give it that space. So the other thing that came up for me was, I really enjoy spending one-on-one time with the people that I love the best, because it gives me that space to just really like allow everything to come up and have really deep conversations and really nice, intimate, deep relationships. Okay, so because I am also learning, you know, to devote time and love and energy to myself, because I gave it away to everyone else, people that didn't appreciate it. And now I'm focusing on me and loving me. That doesn't mean that I'm not loving and giving to other people, but it means I have energy and time and love to give to other people. And the way that I like to do that, I'm noticing, is really through one-on-one like relationships in that space. How about you? How do you like to give? You know, what feeds your soul? What do you like to do with your energy? Do you like being around a lot of people? Not a lot of people? What kind of relationships do you like to have? Okay. Ooh, we got, oh my God, I love these. I love this, how this just comes so naturally. Okay, so we got the, oh my God, the Chamber of Surrender. Isn't that beautiful? Do you feel like you're in that energy now, or you could be in that energy, or that energy is calling to you? It's definitely calling to me. Okay, and then we got the Mystic and the Machine. So this is a polarity card, which is cool because we're working with the polarities, which we talked about before in terms of the individuation between the masculine and the feminine, the unconscious and the conscious, and what was the other one? The soul and the ego, polarity. I love working with polarities. At one point I did a training, or I took a training in dialectical behavior therapy, which was created by Marsha Linehan for borderline personality disorder. And it is all about working with dialectics, like polarities, and coming to a middle ground. Because borderline personality disorder, you're either this or you're that. And so it was teaching self-regulation, being able to come to that middle point. And I do think that that's something that is like a thing that we struggle with in my family, that being really sensitive and being invalidated by the world. So trying to find that way of coping. Okay, so Chamber of Surrender. Number 56. There is a mysterious pulse of life woven through every living thing. Everything changes, and so it should. Nothing is stagnant or permanent. Okay, so it was the same thing that the tarot reader was saying this morning. Like, you're struggling with the idea that this thing that's in your life right now that you love so much, it's going to end. Or this period in your life is going to end. It's a number of things. It's not just one thing. It's what we all struggle with, really, the idea of death. And we can either, I heard this the other day, if we're anxious, we're focused on the fear of the future, and if we're depressed, we're focused on the past and what happened in the past and worrying about that. But I think what we all want to be able to do is really be in the present moment and enjoy the present moment. And that's something that I'm really focused on right now, is letting go of that, of all of those fears, and just being present. And I'm like at a point in my life where I'm doing that better than any other place. That's my focus. And it is scary to think that the things that you love so much aren't going to be there at some point. And I'm at a point in my life where I know that, because I just launched my teenage daughter to college. I just got a divorce after 25 years. I'm leaving my career as a marriage and family therapist. But we also know that endings, there's endings happen. A lot of endings happen when we're ready to let go. Like, we really need to let go. The energy is dying and there isn't anything there for us anymore. There's nothing left for us to learn, or no other way we can grow in that situation. So I'm kind of surrendering to that, enjoying where I am and allowing it to open me, heal me, teach me, grow me, enjoying that, enjoying the process. So anything you attempt to control or cling tightly to will likely cause you to become out of sync with life's intelligent ways. And this card is your reminder to loosen your grip, non-attachment. This doesn't mean that the things you cling to for fear of nothing coming to take their place aren't meant for you. If you loosen your grip, they may indeed stay right there. But devoting all your life force to the clinging will likely leave you depleted, rigid, and stuck, as you rely on your personal will rather than the flow of life. And I just saw this, something that somebody posted this morning about that, how you come to a place in your life where your personal will is not affecting your life anymore. It's just not working. And I came to that place. It's a very interesting place to come to, when every effort that you make is not doing anything. And it's very frustrating, but that's where you learn surrender. That's where you learn that there's also a force out there that will support you and that actually has your best interest in mind and can see a higher picture for you. It can see everything that you want and how you can actually receive it. If you can trust that and surrender to that, amazing things can happen to you. And I have experienced that. However, surrender requires courage and the faith that if you give it your all, that which is meant for you will find you. And it will. I have found that. If you're looking to create something or call something in, surrender is an important part of the process. If you're having a difficult time in a relationship, surrender can be an essential ingredient. Sometimes the way to shift something is to find a way to soften our rigidity around it, which is what I've been finding. Sometimes I cling to something and then I try to open to other ways of being, and it does soften. It softens around it, and I can start to feel I can let go of that fear, which I think is what I was being guided towards before. Spirit was giving me this message of, you're going to feel this constriction, and then just you relax and surrender into it. And it's part of the process, I want to cling to this. And yes, acknowledging that you want to cling to this because you love it so much, and being grateful for it. And then just allowing yourself to loosen and let go a little bit and just relax and enjoy it and be present with it. So it is that kind of flowing in and out of that. Whether your dream is for a relationship, a career accomplishment, an acknowledgement, or all of that, or to heal something all-consuming, surrender is the key. This card comes with a message of hope and encouragement, telling you to not lose heart and to remember to keep telling yourself, I surrender, I surrender, I surrender. But also, it's okay to feel that tightness and that fear. It's also telling you what you love, what you value. So just when that happens, acknowledge it and then relax and release. Okay, so let's do the Mystic and the Machine. We're probably only going to do 2 cards because this is so long, but we'll see. Okay, so we actually got it, the Mystic side up. So that's a good thing. The Mystic, creativity, magic, dreamer, alignment, potency, awe, flow, harmony, deep connection, inner world, nectar, overspilling, unique medicine, satisfaction, unrestrained, wild, free, intimacy, purpose, unique expression. And the Machine, unsustainable ways, soulless greed, parched external validation, reaching exhaustion, pushing, churn, and burn. So it seems like we're more on the Mystic side. We're moving into that alignment. We're moving into that flow. We're moving into our creativity, our awe, curiosity, harmony, deep connection, our inner world, our wildness, our purpose, and our unique expression. As opposed to what's on the outside. It's like all this noise on the outside and what we see in the world. The unsustainable ways, soulless greed, parched, external validation, reaching exhaustion. This is maybe where we came from, the contrast. Pushing, churn and burn, meaningless, paper thin, hungry for more, controlling, and shallow. So it says, which part of the card is right side up, which we got the Mystic? Which meaning is calling to you the most? And how can you bring both parts' meanings into balance? The Mystic is dedicated to having a direct and intimate relationship with the sacred. Mystics are the artists, the poets, the visionaries, and the dreamers. The world needs more mystics right now to create and make new myths for humanity. Or just let go of the old story and allow ourselves to just be more present and see what unfolds. The Mystic prioritizes the soul while the Machine lacks soul. The Mystic creates, the Machine produces. Anyone can produce pretty much anything if they try, yet no one can create quite like you. So that's kind of answering my question, right? Is there a place for me? Nobody can create like me. I'm going to show you my creation from yesterday. So my son and I were painting yesterday, and it was just a way of creatively expressing. My mom does painting. She did that one. And my mom and my sister are very artistic. I not so much. But not at painting anyway. But I find it very, I love like just creating and moving my paintbrush, you know, just that movement of it. So this is what I created yesterday. Okay, so I am going to be interrupted in a minute. I'll try to wrap this up. Scott, I'm just doing a video.
Okay, you do your video.
I'm almost done.
I'm going back to work, so
okay.
I'll talk to you in a bit. Love you.
Wait, you're going back to work now?
Yeah, I had to pick something up.
Oh, okay.
I messaged you.
Okay, Okay, if the Mystic is right way up, it's an acknowledgement of your sacred purpose and an encouragement to go even deeper. If the Machine is right side up, consider whether you've been putting too much emphasis on the external for guidance rather than the internal. Our modern society tends to capitalize on what's well received, but we must be careful not to dampen the creative spark that made it possible. When we use our creativity for a controlled outcome, we can easily lose the magic. and turn into producing, not creating. Producing starves the soul. It turns the mystic into a machine. This is the challenge for the artist, for the mystic to create, not produce. Okay. I'm looking to see if we want to get any other cards. Let's get one from the Ascended Masters deck, which was an older deck that I have. And maybe we'll get one from my Fairy Tale Heroine deck, which I picked ones from this morning. Okay. What type of spiritual guidance do we need or are we receiving at this time? Okay. We got, oh, this is cool. Apollo, focus on your strengths. And Archangel Michael, you can do it. All right, so focus on your strengths. This card reminds you to focus upon your strengths and not upon any perceived weaknesses. Your strengths could include your loving heart, pure intentions, people skills, hobbies, or something that you excel in. Even if your talents still need polishing, these are strengths and assets. The more you bless and appreciate your strengths, the stronger they'll grow. If you focus upon so-called weaknesses, they will grow. This card comes to you as a reminder of the importance of viewing yourself with compassion and love. Anytime you find yourself thinking or feeling poorly about yourself, focus upon your strengths instead. Okay, and you can do it, Archangel Michael. Did I show you? I showed you that one, I think. So one of the things that I'm working on is making sure that I keep myself in the equation, which is something I've always talked about with my clients. Make sure you include yourself in the equation. And I struggle to do that myself. I find myself putting everybody else's needs and things before mine, and I have to really consciously refocus myself on what I want. And, you know, sometimes it is what everybody wants, and sometimes it's not. Okay, you're qualified and ready to take the steps toward your desired outcome. You have what it takes to fulfill your dreams and your life's purpose. This card signals that it's time now to make your move. You can do it. Take action without delay or hesitation. Okay. Maybe we'll get one more from the Light Seers Tarot, or whatever comes up from the Light Seers Tarot. Ooh, that's cool. So when I first got this deck, the Light Seers Tarot, it asked you to like find the card that you don't like the most, that scares you the most, and mine was the Three of Swords, and that was right before I realized I needed to get a divorce, and I was feeling the Three of Swords. And what card you like the most, that speaks the most to you, and it was the Ace of Cups, and we got the Ace of Cups. And the King of Swords. We got the King of Swords and the Ace of Cups. So, see, the King of Swords has a lot of animals around him. And animals can be guides. I had a robin coming to me this morning. I'm not sure what a robin means. But that's what came to me this morning. And it kept coming. So I'm like, what is this robin trying to say to me? But a robin is a sign of spring or new beginnings. I don't know, does anybody else have a meaning for robins? I mean, it should be, whatever you see, it should be something that means something to you, or whatever it means to you, because it's your spirit speaking to you. So for me, it's new beginnings. And the Ace of Cups is new beginnings in love, which I think is kind of, it's not just love from others, it's love from ourselves. It's a new way of loving yourself. Because that's what I have discovered, that through my own journey of divorce and studying marriage and family therapy and trying to help everyone, and realizing that it made me just, I didn't do the best that I could. I didn't meet my expectations, and things didn't go the way I wanted them to go. And there was a lot of heartbreak and a lot of disappointment. But what I noticed with that was, I lost track of what I was saying. It was related to the cards. Let me see if I can find it again. Oh well, it will come up again. So the King of Swords is intelligence, logic, rules and law, clear thinking, a strong communicator and leader, truth and proof, blending mental and spiritual pursuits, bravery and courage. I make intelligent and wise decisions about my future. Okay, it's a lot about trusting yourself. And that's what I'm learning to do, trusting myself and finding that balance. Like, in the past, I may have been out of balance and made decisions that were not good because I was out of balance. But as I come to balance, I make better decisions. And what I have found, what I was trying to say before, is that when we really love ourselves and we focus on what we love and value, that creates a natural boundary between what we want and what we don't want. And when we learn on our path that there are certain people who don't give back to us and just expect from us and suck our energy and don't even value or appreciate us, we start to learn how to recognize those people and keep them outside of the boundary. And it helps us to move back into what we do like to experience, what does feed our soul, what makes us feel good, joyful, peaceful. And that holds the boundary for us. That's the discernment. So what I've found is, as I love myself and focus on myself, my love includes all those people that also value me and appreciate me, and we have this giving and receiving flow between us. So that's what I attract, and that's what keeps me safe, and that's what keeps my boundaries there. And it all works together. I don't know if I described that right. Okay, so the Ace of Cups, which I think what I'm saying is going to relate to that card. And it's interesting because my spread is like in a circle, even though it's on a square cloth. Okay, new connections, new romantic relationships, friendships, seeds of love and hope, newfound emotions, awakening the heart, joy, positive outcomes, oneness, bliss, creativity. My heart is open and filled with love. An extremely positive message of vibrant beginnings, the Ace of Cups marks the genesis of relationships, emotional connections, and deep feelings of love and friendship. Your emotions are powerful magic, Cultivate your ability to call on expansive, optimistic, and profoundly radiant feelings and consciously send your heart waves out into the world. That's what they mean by the power is in the present moment. You are creating when you do this. They will become powerful beacons for awakening new adventures, romance, and the effusive joy that you are calling into your life. Your capacity for love is expanding, so check in and make sure you aren't repressing your ability to connect with others as a result of being overly protective. Mindfully extend the love you feel to your heart as well. Forgive yourself for past mistakes and find a fountainhead for healing. With copious amounts of self-acceptance, get ready to expand. Exciting affinities are emerging, and it's time to open up, and you give yourself permission to deepen your kinship with the life around you. Okay, I think that's a good place to end. When you've been hurt and you keep your heart open, but you learn to discern who to open to, who you can open to and give to, and who is not going to appreciate, or who you want to keep outside of that boundary. You can keep your heart open even when you're with those people that don't appreciate or value. You can still keep your heart open. You don't have to close it and armor up. And that is something that I have just learned how to do. If you're learning that and you want to share some insight, I'm sure there are a lot of us out there that would really appreciate that. And we all have different ways of saying it that speak to different people. So please share. Okay. Happy Tuesday.